How can king activity when you chess endgames? Imagine the king as a powerful piece rather than just the king in the endgame. When the game reaches the final phase, the king becomes a key player in securing victory. Unlike in the opening or middle game, where protecting the king is the priority, the endgame offers a chance to use the king actively. Moving the king toward the center is often the first step. A well-placed king can control important squares and support pawn pushes. Centralization increases the king's mobility, letting it quickly switch sides to help promote pawns or block the opponent's advances. Supporting passed pawns is another big reason why king activity matters. When you have a pawn close to promotion, your king should be nearby to escort it safely. The opposing king will try to stop your pawn, but an active king can prevent that by staying in front of or beside the pawn. This creates a barrier that the enemy king cannot easily cross. Using opposition is a common technique here. Opposition involves placing your king directly opposite the opponent's king with one square in between. This forces the enemy king to move away, giving your king a chance to advance. Controlling key squares is vital. When your king is active, it can restrict the opponent's king to less useful parts of the board. This limits their options and makes it easier for you to push your pawns forward. An active king can also help trap the enemy king in a passive position, making it harder for them to defend. Timing is everything. Usually, you want to activate your king once the queens are off the board. With fewer threats, your king can safely become more aggressive. Moving too early risks being chased or trapped, but waiting too long can lose your chance to gain an advantage. In rook endgames, the king's activity is even more important. Positioning your king behind passed pawns or near the center can support your rook and increase pressure on your opponent. Coordinating the king with your rook can help you cut off the enemy king from key areas or push your passed pawns to promotion. Practical moves include bringing your king toward the center early in the endgame, supporting your passed pawns, and using opposition to outmaneuver your opponent's king. Combining king activity with good rook placement can turn a small advantage into a winning one. In the end, a lively, active king is often the difference between a draw and a win. It transforms from a vulnerable piece into a central force that supports your pawns, controls critical squares, and limits your opponent's options. Mastering how to activate and use your king effectively is a fundamental part of endgame strategy. It can help you convert even slightly better positions into victories, making your endgame play much stronger.